Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome here if you're new. So quite a lot has come through to me actually since my last reading. A lot of you that watch my content frequently will know that often happens, that my readings will link. As often when I finish a reading, sometimes even when I watch it, I get more messages come through to me channeled. And that's what's happened. So, by the way, if you haven't seen that last reading, do check it out. It's the one called Spiritually Dead versus Spiritually Awakened. Which one are you? And I shared my psychic insights and observations in terms of what I see in society right now. And it was great to hear from quite a few of you saying what you feel, that you agree, you're seeing things as well. So it's interesting, isn't it? Those of us who are awakened are seeing the subtle shifts that have been happening, but I feel are in fact intensifying as well. And there's a reason for that. So because of what's come through to me for this reading, this one's going to be about things that the enemy does, or the dark forces, whatever label you want to put on it, to lower your vibration. This is very important, I think, for us to know this, because once you see it, you can recognise it, you can pull away, you can confront it to show you have no fear, rather than letting it overpower you, so to speak. Now, the first thing I'm going to mention links to something I said in my last reading. I said something about narcissists, and I said about an empowered empath will often remove themselves from a narcissist, walk away even, and I said that you might want to consider doing that, setting boundaries, that kind of thing, because narcissists, by the way, are often influenced by dark spirits, because they're in quite a low vibration already. They're wounded souls. They need help, and so they're very influenced. You might find also they're addicted to drink, other substances, that kind of thing, so they're very easily swayed, let's say. But after that reading yesterday, I did what I sometimes do, some of you will know this. I pulled out the Bible and just opened randomly to a page, and it was very interesting. The message that came through. So I came to Proverbs 22, and the part that stood out to me was, let me just find it, verse 24, "Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go." And I thought, wow, that's just what I was saying in that reading. About narcissists, about being mindful of energies you're interacting with, because you can absorb that energy. I was just looking now as well, actually, because I was trying to find the place, although I put the ribbon. And there was something else, chapter 23. "For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags." Yeah, so drowsiness, those who are asleep, and those who are addicted with drunkard and glutton, greedy, which is what we're seeing in society. That's what I mentioned in my last reading. They will be clothed in rags, so they will lose everything in the end. They think they've got it all right now. Oh, how things are going to shift in the future. So there was confirmation for me in the Bible, so I wanted to share that one first. There is a lot of wisdom, obviously, in the Bible. I know a lot of you read it as well, and it can sort of give you strength. So find things like that as well to give you strength in terms of what you read, listen to. Pull away as much as you can, as I said, from energies like that. You might have found you've been doing that because of what you're seeing out there. Because something else I was thinking last night is that quite frequently now when I go out, I see or experience these strange behaviours in people. That's how I'm realising it's getting worse. Because I used to see it sometimes, but now I'm like, wow, what's going on? You know, well, I know what's going on, and the enemy ramps it up at the last minute because he's fearful, knowing that he's about to lose, essentially. So that's why I also feel this is happening. Now, those of you that saw the extended reading after that last reading, members, will know that I touched upon seers. It came through. I was feeling the energy of spiritually awakened psychic people, which I feel is a lot of you actually who are viewing. However, remember we've also got a lot of fake psychics and seers out there. So in that extended, I said, it was something I forgot to say in that last reading, I'd probably do another reading. This was going to be a part 2, but because other things came through, I'm kind of including other things as well that the enemy uses to bring you down. So fake psychics, as I said, they could be spiritual people. In fact, I think a lot are. They might have started out in that way. But again, unfortunately, maybe they're wounded. Something's happened to them and they've been influenced by dark spirits, and they might not even know what they're doing. They'll lure you, tell you what you want to hear, and some of them even hypnotise. If they're actually on camera and you see their eyes, just be mindful, because there's something that they do with their eyes. They're not saying anything, they're just drawing you in. I've got to share an example here. I'm not naming anyone, but a few years ago I came across a spiritual person, let's say, on YouTube. Psychic, not quite sure about that, but anyway. And I used to watch more back in the day. Now I don't really watch that much, to be honest. I prefer to just channel my own messages. But I remember I was really fascinated by this person and I was very drawn in. In fact, I'd almost be in anticipation, waiting for the next video that they put out. It was something about them that drew me in. And it was strange. I've got to say that. Now, this person is on camera. They use their eyes a lot. I've noticed that. They look directly at the camera. And I started to notice something about their energy. And also things they were saying were showing me, because I can analyse people, being that I'm a therapist, I could analyse, wow, this person has some wounding from childhood, from what they were saying. They're actually quite insecure. Lots of things like that were coming through, and I thought, that's enough. So I stopped watching. That's just one example. There are many others out there. So just be mindful of that in terms of the energy you absorb from those types as well, telling you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. There's a difference. Are they a teacher? Or are they telling you, hey, next week you're going to be a millionaire? You know, all these nice things. Oh, here's another one that they'll do. Because you might notice that in my readings, I try and see things from all perspectives. I talk about the darkness as well. I talk about the light, the future, the positive future, but I also tell you what I see is going to happen, like destruction and that kind of thing. Because, well, it's reality, isn't it? And I'm truthful in what I do. But in terms of those who I said are fake, I actually feel it's a bit of fear that they have in their system as well, in their energy field. And they only see things from one perspective. So like, here's the world, they see the rosy side of things. They don't want to go there in terms of the dark side of the world and tell you about that. So they miss that out, and they'll just say, everything's going to be rainbows and unicorns and fine. Watch out for those types, okay? Because as I said, I'm not saying they're not of the light, but they're not telling you the whole picture. So anyway, I'll leave that there. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them, come across them, you're intuitive yourself, so you might feel it. What Spirit said to me yesterday, I've written it down because I thought it was really pertinent, is the enemy uses curiosity as his primary hook. So, for example, the psychics. People are curious, aren't they? Oh, what's going to happen? What do I need to know? So you're drawn in by those types. So what does the enemy do? He tries to influence them with fear, illusion, taps into their weaknesses, that they haven't healed. So it's essentially people who haven't healed, as I said, and grown, much like the narcissists again. But yeah, with curiosity and psychics, I really see the link there. Things that make you curious, you want to go back for more and more and more. Or something that makes you want to go back for more, like drink, for example. But what does that do? It suppresses, as I said in my last reading, suppresses your gifts, your intuition, by the way, and that's why people have like a cloudy intuition, let's say, with certain things. They're unsure, or they believe that person that's saying it's going to be perfect and that's it, nothing bad is going to happen, that kind of thing, Another point I'll just touch on slightly is family and friends who might have really affected you in your life. You might have found you've always been the black sheep of your family or your social circle, and you might have removed yourself from certain circles because of what you see in terms of their behaviour. And again, kind of linking to what I said about narcissists, they could have been influenced by the darkness in terms of their actions, provoked to do things to you to try and bring you down. So again, that's the enemy coming in, making them do things, using them to get to you, essentially. They might be narcissists, they might just be a wounded soul who doesn't really mean it, but they do something and you think it was on purpose. It might not have been them intentionally doing it, if that makes sense, But yeah, some of you, I feel, have pulled away from a lot of family and friends as a result of what you see. You don't just go along with the crowd. You see things clearly. You've empowered yourself, or you're empowering yourself, depends where you are on your journey. Don't have fear in terms of doing that. It's up to you what you do, obviously, your life choices. But again, linking to what we read in the Bible, you don't want to be around those furious energies, as it said, angry energies who might provoke you to get angry as well, which then makes you misaligned in that moment, and maybe for a while. It might really affect you for a long time. Being around those types of energies, you might have nightmares, not be able to sleep, be thinking a lot about interactions, what you could have said, all those sort of things. It's all done on purpose to make you in an energy of fear, anxiety, lowers your vibration, But if you pull away, try it for a while. Try it for, like, say, a month or so. See how you feel. Do you feel at peace? Do you feel better? Not communicating with people like that. Might be difficult if it's co-workers. Got to say, because that's another one that they'll use. Co-workers, employers, that kind of thing. But yeah, again, just be mindful of those you interact with. Now that links to my next point, actually, which is that the enemy will entice you to dark places, and that could include where you work, maybe even where you live. How this came through to me was interesting, actually. This morning, Spirit brought a memory of mine to mind. I haven't thought about it for years, but there was a reason for it, and it was linked to this point. So I think it was about 15 or so years ago, quite a long time, when I was still applying for jobs in the Matrix. I'm not anymore. And I was offered a job. It was abroad, actually, and I was speaking with the man on the phone, the employer, making the final arrangements. Now, at the time, I wasn't particularly aware of my spiritual gifts and intuition. I knew I was intuitive, but I didn't really have the gift that I have now, because I was more suppressed at that time as well. So we all go through it at different times, obviously. But there was something he said at the end of the conversation, and I still remember, I remembered it this morning, how suddenly it was like I swallowed a stone. It's the best way I can describe it. My energy suddenly went really heavy. And I got off the phone, and I remember thinking, something's telling me, don't take that job. So it was my soul, I guess, and maybe my spirit guides really urging me, don't do it. So I didn't. I backed off and declined. And I asked Spirit this morning, because obviously now I've got more psychic knowledge, let's say. I asked why could I not take that? And I just saw an image of a bowl, kind of like a pit. And so I was seeing that it would have been like a dead end. I would have been trapped, like in a bowl. And that it was also quite a dark place. I think not just the workplace, but the actual town. I'd done a bit of research into it. That's right, yes, I remember now. Just remembering. That time, it was a long time ago, everyone. Yeah, I remember looking at the town. I could see the buildings. It was quite old. And maybe again, I was picking up on something from looking at the pictures. Something in my soul knew anyway. So yeah, obviously the enemy wanted me to go there, to that place, to be around those people in that town, feel trapped, maybe even more suppressed. This is what happens in our lives if we're a light worker. They'll try and put out your light and make you feel trapped, heavy, like you can't get anywhere, you know. So anyway, yeah, I'm just bringing that example up to share with you in terms of something that happened to me in the past. So some of you might have the same thing. It could be that you meet someone and suddenly you feel that sensation that I just described. Or you go into a place and you feel really heavy. You walk past a house. This has happened to me before. I walk past a house and I stop and think, whoa. I look at the house, I think there's something in that house that's it's almost like there's eyes on you, or they're doing something dark in there. So always trust those feelings in your body. This is again where you need to have balanced chakras and to be very light not taking too many substances, you know, to be able to feel these different things and sense with your senses. That's why they call it the sixth sense, isn't it, for the third eye. Now, something else that the enemy could do is to block blessings that are meant to come in for you. Now, this could be through people, as I said, about friends, family, co-workers. They might do things, whether it's intentional or not, like they might curse you and then you get blocked, for example. Maybe blocked from a promotion or an inheritance, whatever it is. So there's that. Now, sometimes it can be the divine, though. As they say, rejection is God's protection. So say if you're rejected from a job, it might not be right for you. Another thing, obviously, is money. Money is the root of all evil, created by the enemy. And what I've been seeing recently, what I've been shown by Spirit, is those who sell themselves to get to the top. And when I say that, I mean, you know, like self-promotion. It's like they're shown the only way you can get there is if you sell yourself, sell your soul. I've mentioned the music industry before, in terms of what happens there. But there's also the selling to promote on various platforms, this one included. You can pay, and then that's how your stuff gets out there. Why do you think certain content gets out there more and others less? There's a reason for it. And something I'm seeing as well is that what I'd call the popularity cycle. So, say for example something is promoted and they start to really grow quickly and they get, for example, 2 million followers, 1 million views on a post. People click on it, they see that, and that draws them in. They think, wow, 2 million subscribers, they must be good. Then they watch it and they think, oh yeah, they are good. So they follow and they keep watching, for example, or buying whatever it is that they're looking at on a platform. So that's the sheep, isn't it? Being drawn in by what the crowd follow. But is it the best? Is it good for them? Is what I would, question. I'm not saying that they're all bad. However, it's people who've been sucked in by the system, by money. Therefore, they're probably going to be quite 3D, let's say, in their way of thinking. And then suck in everyone else along the way. That's what the enemy wants. For people to follow the fakes, as I said before, the narcissists that want all the power, glory, followers, money. So that's been the agenda for a long time, and it's still happening. So what I'm getting at is use your discernment, trust your intuition in terms of what you watch. If we're talking about a platform, for example, it kind of links with what I was saying about your social circle. Energies you absorb. When you watch things online, you're also absorbing energy. So, try and read their energy, look in their eyes. What do you see? Do you trust them? You'll probably get a feeling, like the feeling I described before, but just trust that. And, be mindful of how many different, for example, if it's readings you're watching, I have mentioned this before, be mindful of how many you watch as well, because, if they're general, they're all telling you different things, you could get confused. Why not working on trusting your own intuition? Channeling. you know, then you can trust yourself, hopefully, in terms of what comes through, and you'll build a better relationship with spirit, with God, you know, through your meditation, for example. So that leads me to my last point. Quite a few have come through, and that is grief. I've mentioned this in previous readings, actually, how grief brings down your vibration. Because obviously people feel sad at a loss of the loved one who's passed away, in a sense of doom and gloom, you know, not really seeing the light at all, just in a dark place. That's often how I see grief, just like darkness around a person. And just remember that if you're in that energy, the darkness can get to you more easily and influence you during that time. Now, I'm not saying rush grief, because we can't put a time on it. However, I think that we've been programmed, or society, let's say, has been programmed in terms of grief. You know, wear black, all doom and gloom. You know, you must mourn. And, you know, be in that sort of sad energy to show your respect. Well, we could see it in a different way, couldn't we? We could focus on the good times, the memories, the happy memories of the person, celebrate the person's life. You know, think of them in a positive way, what they brought to the world. Try and focus on that to keep your vibration high. Don't see it so much as a loss. Depends on the way you see things, you see, again. But yeah, it's easier to manipulate people. This is about narcissists, who are often influenced by dark spirits. It's easier to influence if you're in that heavier dark energy. So just be mindful of that. You know, if you're grieving, let it out, of course. Let it out. Purge, release, share, speak with others who knew the person, but try and keep it light, and try not to dwell on it as well all the time. Try and focus on positive things to keep your vibration high. Do you know what brought me to this point? This morning before this reading, just as I was getting ready, actually, this is often how I channel as well, I was just getting ready, getting changed and stuff, and I heard the song, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, I think it's called. The Beatles, or is it George Harrison? I'm not quite sure. Sorry everyone, I'm not very good on song titles, but I was hearing that anyway, and I always associate that song with grief. So that's what brought that message through from Spirit. It could be a song that some of you love as well. It might resonate with some of you, touch you in some way. So that's how that came through. So that's all of the points that came through. There could be others, but I hope that's helped anyway. So now I'm going to pull a few cards just for some guidance for you all. See what else Spirit wants to say. So bear with me as I just do it in this way, where I sort of feel for the energy in the palm of my hands. Wow, I'm really feeling something there. Where's Millie when I need her? Yesterday I did a reading and she pulled the card. With the messages. Okay, that one. Wow, everyone. we've got dragonfly, and it says live life to the fullest. Notice the light in the card, seeing the light, appreciating things I'm getting as well with nature, you know, or maybe seeing a dragonfly, a butterfly, that could be a sign from spirit. But yeah, live life to the fullest indeed. Enjoy life. Are you enjoying life? Or does it feel like a drag? Again, that could be your soul telling you something if things are getting you down, or people around you are bringing you down. You know, get out into nature, appreciate what you see, the beauty in life, enjoy the beauty in life, see the beauty in life. I'm really getting with that one. Green for the heart chakra. Yeah, open your heart, because that's another thing that I'm seeing. Closed hearts in the collective. As I said in the last reading about selfish energies, don't want to help others, not being respectful to others. It's people who've closed their hearts because of what they're experiencing out there in the collective. They just close off, and then with others they kind of treat them in the same way. But that's not the way to be, is it? We've got to rise above it. You know, if we all did that, we'd be in a really horrible world. But thankfully, we haven't all closed our hearts. And that's where we need to keep opening them and sharing our light and love. Wow, so I love that message that's come through with the dragonfly. I've pulled out the book for this one as well, because this is quite a new deck. It says the dragonfly lives near water and represents the ability to be emotionally strong and flexible. It is one of the only creatures that can fly up, down, sideways and backwards. Living your truest life is a responsibility. Don't let it be trivialised or lived superficially. The dragonfly is a symbol of knowing who you are and what you want. Make informed decisions and live life to the fullest without regrets. Yeah, be in the present moment, I'm getting as well with that one. Knowing who you are. Living life to the fullest, being happy in the situation you're in. And if you're not, if you've got this feeling of dread, which has come out in previous readings, you know, for the day or for your work, then it might be time to address that, you know, and do something different that gives you hope and passion for your day ahead, even if you're not working, doing something that uplifts you, for example. So I'm being guided to pull one more. It's a beautiful image that we had there with the dragonfly, also a symbol of transformation. So it could be that some of you are going through a change at the moment in your perspective, in terms of what you do, your life purpose. I keep feeling around here some warmth, so which one? That one. We got 7 heavenly virtues, keys to goodness. Now here it's like she's receiving a blessing. That's beautiful. So blessings will come your way. Have hope. It's like, you know, wish on a star with that one as well. She's wearing a very colourful dress. I'm getting like the colours of the chakras with 7 as well, actually. Balance your chakras. Be aligned and you will receive your rewards. I thought I'd pull out the book again to see what it says. Really interesting. It says, you represent spiritual enlightenment, divine knowledge and wisdom. You have faith and believe in all that is good and meaningful. You have a deep intuitive understanding of God, the angels and the universal spirit. You know the keys to goodness. You are being asked to use this knowledge to empower and teach others. Yeah, indeed. The light workers out there watching, I know you're watching. You're very intuitive. You're being guided to keep using that to help others, teach others, empower others, which is what I try and do as well, obviously. I thought I'd just show you, it's very interesting, it shows you what the 7 heavenly virtues mean. So this could resonate with some of you. Faith, believe and trust in the right things. Hope, believe that good will prevail. Charity, unlimited loving kindness towards others. Fortitude, never giving up. Justice, being fair and equitable towards others. Patience, accepting the grace to forgive. Temperance, practicing self-control and moderation. So, I mean, that links to quite a few things I've said already, isn't it? You know, especially loving kindness towards others. Because I was saying about people with closed hearts before. Giving, with charity, giving rather than always wanting. Because I see that a lot in the comments, as I mentioned in the last reading. Having hope, believing, being fair with others, which is obviously what the enemy doesn't do. Forgiving, it sets you free. So really beautiful messages, I think, with those 2 cards there. I hope that has helped. You might notice I've got my charms. I usually use them in the tea leaf readings, but I was guided to pull one at the end of this reading. So whatever sticks to my fingers. And we got 4. So that's what we'll take. Now the first one I'm being drawn to is the pliers, which links with what I was saying before about cutting certain things out of your life, whether it's addictions, pleasures that aren't good for you, people, you know, setting boundaries, making tweaks as well with the pliers. Could indicate some troubles and anxiety some of you have right now, things that you really wish you could eliminate from your life, but maybe you can't. So again, have hope. Remember, you can make changes with the dragonfly that came through there. Be resilient is the message. We've got a jigsaw piece. So finding the missing piece of the puzzle, maybe solving something, a mystery for some of you. A realisation. Seeing the overall picture. So that's what I've tried to do today in this reading with you all. You know, share the overall picture so you see things clearly. Try and look at everything. Take a step back. Take a bird's eye view. Like the eagle. I often see the eagle when I think of that. Or the hanged man in tarot. See things from all perspectives. What is someone's motive, for example? You know, who approaches you. What do they really want? Or someone you're watching. What do they really want to do? Are they trying to help you? You might see things differently. Have a realisation after this reading. For some of you. Now, that's beautiful. We've got an owl. Owls are a sign of wisdom, inner knowledge. So you're being guided to trust your own inner knowledge and wisdom. You might even find that it comes to you in dreams, because I'm thinking night owl, or when you meditate. Trust whatever comes to you. You know, try and have a practice, if you can, where you meditate and just see the visions that come to you, what you hear. If you use cards as well, meditate on a card, for example. See what you see in a card that stands out to you, for example. Trust your intuition. It's really coming through a lot in this reading. And we've got an aeroplane as well. Now, I often see that as a sign of ascension. You might have dreams of an aeroplane or see aeroplanes or dreams of travel. Maybe you want to escape or travel as well, though. Is that about the pliers? Is something you want to do? Maybe a project. Could show a sudden life change for some of you, moving in a completely different direction. Your spiritual aspiration. So maybe as you're ascending, you want to do something different. You feel you've got another purpose in life. You're seeing things differently with the jigsaw piece. Seeing the bigger picture, thinking, what do I contribute to the world? Is what I'm doing helping people? That's something else that came through actually to me last night. There are some people, I'm picking up on their energies, you could be watching, who are at a crossroads and you are thinking about doing something, maybe investing in something, doing something different, because you're wondering about what you're doing and whether it's really helping people. Because you're awakening, you're thinking, could I help others to awaken and see the light as well, for example. So I hope that resonated for some of you. Well, I'm going to leave that there, everyone. I thought this would be a long one because I had quite a lot to get through there with my channel messages, but I really hope that you got something from this reading, that it's helped, brought you some clarity and insight. That's my main aim, to bring you the truth. Please do let us know in the comments what you feel as well, as you have been recently. It really does help, I think, for a lot of you as well, to see you're in the same sort of situation, you're seeing things in the same way as well. Please do subscribe if you'd like to see future readings from me. Join my channel as well on my new Patreon if you'd like additional content and readings that I do every week. Thank you so much to my members and to those who sent donations as well. It's very much appreciated and helps me keep the channel going. I'll see you all very soon. Sending peace, love and light to you all.